Happy Monday, everyone. And it's time for Marketing Monday Live. While you're busy switching on your laptops, plugging into your YouTube or your Facebook, why don't you let me know where you're watching live from? I'm Liezel. For those of you watching Marketing Monday for the first time, I'm trying to figure out day 208 of lockdown in South Africa. And I host Marketing Monday every week live on Facebook and YouTube at noon, South African time. I know we have viewers from all over the world watching. And this is your time to learn a little bit from the guests that I interview every week, your time as a business owner to share. I might have the guests that join us every week, but you might have some incredible advice or some great tips that you want to offer us. Please feel free to join in on the conversation. Down below, you'll see a comment section on your Facebook or your YouTube. You just type it in. I'll be able to see the comments live here on my side of the screen. And it's your opportunity just to either grow, share, or enjoy what we have to offer every week live from Marketing Monday. And it started as a way of us as business owners, as entrepreneurs, sharing with each other the struggles we faced in that first week of lockdown, just over 208 days ago, to our successes, our achievements, to great things that we've done, to struggling with social media, to winning on social media, to struggling with moving from level 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So this is what it's all about. It's us as business owners just giving advice and sharing. So it's nice to see everyone watching. Tony Zimmerman saying, I'm watching from Westhuizen. Hi, Tony. Nice to have you watching. That's in the Cape. Kathy Youthwaite, always nice having you join us. Kathy, I've mentioned before, runs an incredible boutique-style doggy daycare, and she's based in Bloberg. Belinda from Durbanville, welcome. Nice to have you joining. And I'm looking for you. We've got viewers from Italy. We've got viewers from Ireland. We've got viewers from all over watching. So please pop in the comment section down below where you're watching from. Miriam Edwards saying hi on YouTube. Nice to have you watching us. And watching from Belgravia in the Athlone area. Great gym in the Athlone area. I'll have to tell you about that and feature it on My Fitness Friday. And we run Fine Root Productions. That's from Miriam. Thanks, Miriam, for letting us know. My next question, and this is how we always used to start Marketing Monday, as a way of celebrating small businesses. So I want to know from you, is there a small business in your community, in your neighborhood that's really impressing you, or a business that you've just been impressed with during lockdown? Please let me know. Pop it in the comment section below. Let's give them some exposure. Let's just boost them. And my advice to you, if there's someone that's really impressed you in terms of their business, really in terms of their service, why don't you write them a Google review? It's simple. I promise you, it's so easy. All you need to do is you go into your Google Maps, look for their address on Google Maps, go down to the review section, and you literally just write, even if it's a sentence, and give them a 5 or a 4 star, nothing less than a 4 star, and give them some great reviews, because that's a way we can give back to businesses during lockdown and at any time. So that's my advice today. Quickly saying hi to Ollie from Cape Town, Haley from Kirstenhof, Joanne from Milnerton, Tracy from Cape Town, sunny Cape Town. Great having you join us. And pop in the comment section below. Start celebrating those small businesses, medium-sized, large-sized businesses, anyone that's impressed you. It can be just great service that you've received from a great waitress down the road at a local restaurant, or it can be a big business that you've received great service from. Please, we're here to celebrate big and small businesses. And today we're talking about human capital. And as entrepreneurs, we're all going, we're a single-run business. What's human capital to us? Well, we're going to get the answer for that. And of course, as I've said, for those of you who just tuned in, you are welcome to comment. You're welcome to ask questions. You're welcome to interact at any time with our guests that we have joining us live. And our guest today will be answering questions regarding human capital, sharing her story with us, sharing her journey, sharing advice with us, and give a warm virtual welcome to Marketing Monday Live. Irisha Luhanga, thank you so much for joining us and welcome.
Liezel, thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it, and I'm super excited to be on the show today. Thank you.
It's really great to have you joining, and I didn't even ask, where are you joining us from? Where in the world?
From Johannesburg, sunny Johannesburg. I think we actually missed spring in South Africa because we've gone straight from winter to summer. So yeah, in Johannesburg.
Absolutely. Cape Town also just went from winter to summer. So every week we have Marketing Monday Live, and the first question I always ask my guests, and you heard me asking our viewers, is a small business, a business owner, or someone in the community that's done great things during lockdown that's really impressed you? Is there someone that you want to mention today?
There actually is. There's two businesses. The one is called JT Communications, The CEO, her name is Vanessa Permal. And so in the beginning, sort of second month into lockdown, she was diagnosed with cancer. And she was told that she had to have her entire voice box removed. So she went in during COVID to have her full voice box removed. And her business is in communications. Her voice is her business. And she's now learned how to promote her business using a different type of voice and not the voice that she was used to. So from writing to learning how to speak with an electronic voice, which is quite interesting. And I mean, we are now, 6-7 months, past February, and she's doing phenomenally well. Her business is still carried on. They found different ways of how to communicate their strategy to their clients, and she still has clients, which is awesome. I mean, that is such a life-changing thing to happen. Such a life-changing thing.
We're going to post the details down below into our comment section so that anyone can follow and see, because that's an incredible story and something we'll definitely have to feature on Marketing Monday. Thank you so much. And your second business that you want to feature?
The company is called Peak Performance Toolkit, and it's by Liezel. So Deshaun is a mountaineer, one of the few mountaineers from South Africa.
Yes.
And she's done phenomenally well. So during this lockdown, she had to create a new website for her company. And she did it on her own. She learned how to code and how to do the back end of it. And I'm super proud of her because I think she's just done phenomenally well during this time, just in terms of pivoting her own business and her product offerings. So those are the two businesses that I'd love to get out to.
Very, very inspiring businesses. We'll post their details down below so people can give them a follow. And it's amazing how businesses have pivoted during lockdown, and we've learned the most amazing skills where we've been forced to either change our websites and learn how to code ourselves. Is there something you've learned, whether it's a cooking skill or perhaps something in the office that you didn't know before lockdown?
Well, from a home perspective, definitely baking. I'm more of a cook than a baker, but I had to make cheesecake. And I actually personally surprised myself. So yeah, the baking, also the online schooling. I've got 3 kids that are with online schooling. So being the teacher, being the entrepreneur, being the wife, having 3 dogs as well. So yeah, I learned a lot of skills during lockdown. Within the business, carry on.
No. Carry on.
It's been quite interesting. So my business is HR. So we are HR virtual partners, and we assist our clients from recruitment all the way to exit. But I had to look at what was happening within South Africa and within the timeline that we were globally during COVID. And I had to make sure that the products that I was offering could speak to my clients' needs. So from creating a retrenchment assistance, both for the employee and for the employer, from a psychological assessments, but also from the employer perspective, how to guide them through that process, to creating lots of amazing content for clients that wouldn't necessarily afford to pay for our services now, but just giving them content, how to win on virtual interviews, how to create or get hobbies, and how to create products, and kind of create a side hustle, if you want to call it, during COVID. So it has been quite interesting for me, just in terms of how our products have evolved from an HR perspective, that have spoken to people, both corporate as well as private sector.
Was it difficult for you in lockdown to realize how you needed to pivot as a business? Or did it come easy, or did you have assistance from a team virtually?
The first 2 months, I was in complete shock. I was like, what is going on? So I was trying to create sense of what's going on. And I think it was just so much in terms of conspiracy theory, who did what and what does this mean? And I eventually just had to surrender and let go. I said, for me, I prayed and I said, God, you're in charge of this. You lead us. You guide us. We are going through uncharted territories. I've never been through this before. In March, literally all my clients disappeared. And that's how I've actually managed. It's just really about seeing what's happening in the economy, see what's happening within corporates, and really creating a product offering. Because what we do is the full HR solution to kind of guide organizations. But yes, the first 2 months I was completely just trying to make sense of everything.
So you mentioned that you juggle the kids, 3 dogs, homeschooling, you learn to bake, you're running a household and working virtually from home. But what we don't know about you is that you also run two companies, not only Redefine, but you're involved with another company as well. Just give us a little bit of background on both and what you actually do.
Okay, so the one is called SA Women in ICT Forum, and that's really about giving access to SMEs and youngsters in terms of ICT. This is a new project, or I've newly been appointed on the board as a non-executive for this forum, and it's really been exciting because it's a new board, and so for the past few months we've been creating the strategy for the next 5 years, and we are busy implementing the project. So that's really been exciting, just being part of this completely new and different type of work. The second was called Visions of Joy, and Visions of Joy was created about 14 years ago. A group of friends and of myself and my husband decided to create this NGO, and really it was about bringing happiness to children. And although we all have our daytime jobs, we all did this, on weekends, wherever we could. So we aligned ourselves to quite a few orphanages across South Africa, and we would either crowdfund or assist these businesses in these orphanages to either get money or to assist with after-school care. In Deep Sloot, in the last 2 to 3 years, we got 2 containers where kids after school could go to the containers and get extramural activities, as well as tutoring, as well as getting a meal. For a lot of them, this is like their main meal for the day. The current orphanage that we're assisting is an orphanage based in Midrand. And I mean, this story is such a phenomenal story because the woman that started this orphanage has also started or created a Montessori in the orphanage. So you have kids, and there's about 91 kids on site at the orphanage that attend the Montessori. But she's also opened it up to the community, to parents that can't send their kids to private schools, or they don't have the income for that. And she actually charges a reduced monthly amount for the kids to actually attend. So when we chatted to her last week, she said that there is a need because they need to buy specific textbooks because it's a Montessori school. They don't have the funding. And I think during COVID, a lot of businesses just kind of halted funding to lots of CSI initiatives as well as orphanages. So I really would encourage South Africa at large to keep on doing the good work and keep on donating and keep on helping, because for a lot of these orphanages, they actually rely on that money to survive. So she came to us to say that she really wants to get these textbooks. And, Liezel, if anyone that's listening would like to assist this orphanage to buy these textbooks for next year for about 91 kids, please, let me know, email me, phone me. I'll put you in contact with the matron, with the principal, because there is definitely a need within that orphanage.
It's so incredible. I'm listening to this orphanage story. It's a Montessori school as well, and an orphanage, and making it accessible for the community. And it's such a great feel-good story. We definitely have to get involved. Please share the details, and what we'll do is we'll post the details. So what's their website or their name, and we'll find it and pop it into the comment section below.
Thank you. Thank you, Liezel.
So we'll definitely do that. Irisha, someone says you are definitely a multitasker of note. How do you manage to do everything?
Lots of deep breaths. Sometimes I'm like, wow, okay, did I do that? How did I do that? But my husband has really he's been awesome, and he is awesome, and he really does support and he encourages. He's also an entrepreneur as well. He's an attorney, but he's an entrepreneur. So it was quite interesting during COVID, 2 entrepreneurs, in this household trying to figure things out and charter these uncharted territories. My mum lives with us, and I mean, that is such a blessing. So in as much as I'm out there and I'm doing things, she really is the pillar in the home, because, Gogo is there, the kids can go to Gogo, and Gogo makes them a meal. And I think I'm so blessed to actually have a grandmother that they actually live with. So that's really been how I've managed to do what I'm doing.
Talk us through an average day, a work day for you. I know it's all done virtually right now, but what does an average work day for you look like, if there is such a thing?
It just depends on what my clients require. So during this lockdown, I've been running a lot of assessments. Last year we ran a 25, it's called 5 lenses, which is like Enneagram, but it's a really amazing tool. 25 women-owned businesses across Africa. So different nationalities, different first languages, different business ideas, and they were the top 25 women-owned business owners in STEM, so science and technology and math. So these women are like brilliant, in terms of their just in terms of their IQ, but now taking that and really helping them to create strategies for going forward and looking at their timeline. And that has been awesome. So this month, that's what I'm doing for the rest of this month. I'm doing another 25, which is so awesome. And it takes about 3 hours. And it's really amazing because I'm able to use the tools that I've learned along my own journey. So like narrative coaching, neurolinguistics programming, Enneagram. And I find it so fulfilling. So it just depends. If my client, if I'm running a learnership, that means I'm on site quite often at a client running the learnership. So my days are, no 2 days are the same. They're very different. And that's what I love. I think if I was stuck in an environment where it was 8 to 5, sit at your desk and, show face because you need to get a salary, that would have just driven me crazy. So no 2 days the same. And it's a variety of work that we do.
Now, as an entrepreneur, we don't have 9 to 5. We often blur the lines between 8 to 6 or working on weekends. How do you define those lines, especially being in a household where there's 2 entrepreneurs that head up the household? How do you manage to switch off and work 9 to 5 or work within your confines of your business hours?
Well, during this period, cash is king.
Mm-hmm.
So if the client requires something, you make sure that you do it. You know what I mean? So if it's getting up at 2 a.m. and then working right through. So I still manage, the kids and making sure that they're fine and they're settled, etc., etc. So sometimes it just means when they go to bed, that's when my second job starts. I've got an amazing team as well, which is awesome. But a lot of the time, it depends on my clients and their needs. And I just juggle with both, work and family as well as client. And if it means putting an all-nighter to make sure that my client gets what they need, I will do that.
Well, that's the thing, working for yourself, you know that you need to put those hours in, and it's not always going to be a 24-hour day or putting in an 18-hour day. It differs, and it's about making sure that the client is happy and that the client's needs are met. And that's where a lot of 9 to 5 corporates don't realize, and coming into the entrepreneurial world, there is no more 9 to 5. You define your own hours, but you also have clients that you have to keep happy.
That's it. And I always get asked the question, how many clients do you have? And a lot of my clients are repeat business. So, and even during this period, I've gone back to people that I know, clients that I know. And, what I really appreciated in the beginning of this call, where you asked me to shout out in terms of entrepreneurs, for me, being an entrepreneur is creating a sacred economy. And this sacred economy is, I say the cake is big enough for all of us to share. It's inviting other entrepreneurs with an opportunity, if I'm closing a deal, and they do the same. So it's not necessarily about picking up the call and cold calling, 24/7. It's really about relationships and building strong relationships, but also making sure that whatever I provide to my clients, I do it in the spirit of excellence. So they'll always come back to us and ask us to do more work. So for me, I think it's pivotal. It's so important to make sure that the economy that you create around you is a sacred economy, the people that you can trust with other entrepreneurs. And I think that's the way business is going to happen or be successful going forward.
I love what you said there about finding people that you can trust, like-minded entrepreneurs, and surrounding yourself with people that can grow with you, not necessarily in your business, but in their business as well. And I definitely think that's the way to go. And it's great that, especially with Marketing Monday Live, people are connecting with each other here, and businesses are developing behind the scenes with people that are viewing and commenting and linking to each other. How important is social media to you, as personally, from a personal brand point of view and from a business side of things?
So, I think before COVID, it wasn't that important. The website was just there as a website, like a business card. During COVID, it was like, okay, I need to be more out there. And it's not necessarily my strength. And it actually is a lot of work. So what I did was I actually got someone who is good at doing that, he's brilliant, who kind of got what I'm trying to do and what the business is about. And so he's really assisted us with, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, getting the conversations going. He is amazing with graphics as well. And so a lot of the content I would draft, and then he would put the picture towards the content. But I must say, it's been a huge focus for me because I've also learned during this period in terms of social media that it's okay to give away free content, free information that's going to help people. And, you know, from how to dress for an interview or to how to conduct yourself in a virtual interview to 3 books that have influenced me and my life and the way I work, etc. So I've given out a lot of free content, but for me, it's not free. It's also just showcasing what the business really is in an authentic, transparent manner. And it's been quite interesting because a lot of people come back to say, what's happening? I mean, we just love what you're doing. You're so out there, you know. And I'm like, yeah, this is working. But I also know that it needs to be a consistent you know, execution of these activities. It can't just be a once-off. And in terms of social media, I've also included I've given a shout out to other entrepreneurs. So, you know, like I said, the cake is big enough for us to share. I find by doing that, if I'm going for an interview or if I am in a Twitter discussion, I find that it really helps. It helps their brand, it helps my brand. You know, when big corporates look at the brand, it's more of, oh, so it's a bigger ecosystem, and it's just the right thing to do. You know, I think it's a good thing to do, and it's the right thing to do to putting these businesses as well.
I love that you're putting out all this information, and a lot of people say to me, I don't need a personal brand, Liezel, it's more about bragging. And I always say, personal brand is not about bragging, it's about sharing things. So you shared tips about your favorite reads, not necessarily bragging about yourself, and you're also sharing tips and advice on how to dress for an interview or how to show up for a virtual interview, because a lot of people realize that you can just wear the pajamas when you come for these interviews, and it doesn't always work like that. I see there's some questions coming through. Brian, thank you so much. Please post your question. I haven't seen it. And then a comment from Zarina just saying, impressive portfolio. Well done on your achievements.
Thank you. Thank you.
And then Eston saying, great info about economics and entrepreneurship.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So please keep those questions coming. We will pop them onto the screen for Irisha. What is the one app on your phone, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a business app, it can be any application that you cannot live without?
Wow, that's a good question. Let me just look, you know, even though I say about Facebook, I actually do, you know, so it's, I suppose Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn. And I think the reason why I mentioned those apps is because I'm always checking on the business. Am I getting questions to an article that we posted? You know, has someone come back with feedback? So I'd say I wouldn't say constantly, but I do go to those apps during the day. I'm really trying not to, especially at night time.
That's what I'm coming to, because I want to know if you see a notification coming through, do you go immediately and try and answer straight away, or do you allow yourself, or do you schedule some time in your day to Facebook or to replying to WhatsApps, because it can get a bit much during the day while you're trying to get work done?
Yes. No, I normally schedule it, but also Sean, you know, who's running with the social media, he normally gets to it before I do, which is great. But then I just normally add on to what he said, just to give more content. But I hold myself back. Also because I feel like depending on which platform you're at, so for me, Twitter is a war zone, you know, and...
Stay away. Yeah, there's my Twitter handle. Stay away.
So if I respond on Twitter, I really think about it and I rethink about it, and then I remind myself, whatever I put out there is there for good, forever. So I usually just not just reply on Twitter if I can see it's, you know, it's a war zone, if it's a compliment, or then yes. But so Twitter for me is observe, look, take a deep breath, and walk away. LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook, you know, then I would respond, but I would do it later in the day. That's it.
Twitter's such an interesting animal in South Africa, because everyone that I've spoken to on Marketing Monday says the exact same thing. And sometimes we do take it personally if someone says something on any of the social media platforms. Do you get any negative comments onto anything, and how do you handle that?
I don't really get negative comments. Also because I think my brand is really about helping other people. So a huge focus is unemployed youth. Another focus is helping small businesses with their HR. So end-to-end, creating the policies, you know, helping them with their culture, performance management, etc. So in terms of the brand and what we put out there, it's very much a helpful brand. So not really. No negative.
You mentioned small businesses. How important is human capital for a small business? There's only two of us in the business. Is that something important that I should be looking at?
Definitely, it's huge. I always say to small businesses, don't think of yourself as now. Think of yourself as when you are extremely successful, earning the millions, and you want to make sure that you've got the correct policies in place and processes. It's quite interesting because a lot of these small business owners don't have contracts for themselves within the business. So it goes to even to that level where, as a business owner, you need to have an employment contract because you're not the business. You actually work in the business. You need to have a performance agreement with yourself and the business. So it's quite interesting when I chat to small businesses about creating an HR strategy. They actually, get very flustered initially, but once we start speaking, they understand that this is actually there to help them. So say, for example, if the business owner wants to start training their employees or getting learners, that's something that they could actually get for free with the CETAs. There's stipends, there's funding for that. There's so much value in creating a strategy because then you know exactly which route to take. So say, for example, at the moment, MICT, CETA, they've got an open period for grant funding. So for bursaries, for learners, for interns. As a small business, sometimes you want someone who's got the either social media or software development or someone who can create an app for your business. You can have that resource for free for at least 6 to 12 months.
Wow.
But most businesses don't actually know that. So creating a strategy is useful just in terms of growing your own business because there are lots of resources. What I've also found out when I was in Uganda last year running with the assessments for those 25 engineers, a lot of businesses across Africa know a lot more in terms of funding and angel investment. And the two ladies that were on the program, South African ladies, they didn't have that much information or knowledge about it. They hadn't been to Paris or to London to the Dragon's Den, or they haven't gone to pitch for investment. And I think once you create your HR strategy, you can then see the loopholes within the organization and kind of do a business process mapping exercise to see, okay, fine, if I need to get funding from France, what is the process? Who actually gives the funding? How do I get it? But the information is actually all there, but it's just only once you've got your strategy, then you can actually apply.
That's such incredible advice. I mean, I'm a small business owner. There's only two of us, and that's amazing. And it's some things that we don't even look at. I mean, employment contract with myself and the business, very, very handy. Brian's just posted a question. I'd like to know what structures are needed to have a well-oiled company running. And obviously, it means from a human capital perspective. You've touched on a few things, but is there anything else that Brian should have in place or should know about?
So, Brian, I'd say, create your organogram. So know exactly based on what you're looking to sell, what skills you would need in the business. I think a lot of time business owners, myself included, have made the wrong hiring decisions based on the need at that point in time, but not looking holistically at the organization. And if they, for example, if you need a CFO, then you need to work towards obtaining that skill in the organization and making sure that you've actually got funding to pay that person. If it's a rainmaker or sales consultant, decide, what money you're going to put aside to get the skill. Are you going to do it with 3 months or 6 months or over a year to get them on a retainer or to actually get them on contract? So for me, I think a well-oiled company running speaks to you and your values and your what culture you want to create. But moreover than that, what is it that you want to build and start doing it now? So I think a lot of small businesses are like, oh no, we'll do it next year. Oh, we'll do this next year. Already have the picture, draft the picture of what you want and work backwards. Thanks.
Brian, I hope that answered your question. I found that helpful to me. Irisha, how important is a mission statement, a business plan, and a vision for any business, especially a small business, even if it's just me by myself in a business?
So mission statement is important because that's kind of the road, that's the picture that you want to create. But a business plan changes quite often. There's actually quite a few books on, close their deal without getting the business plan. And I'm sure a lot of business owners during COVID would tell you, but my business plan has changed so much. What I was selling in February and what I'm doing now is just so different. So yes, a business plan it's a good practice to do, but it's going to change, you know. So there are really amazing tools like Growth Wheel, Business Canvas, which is a more interactive tool that you can work on as your business evolves and grows. But the business plan that you would have drafted 5 years ago, you know, if it's quite insignificant now if you look at where we are as business owners and the economy and the country.
So mention those tools and just tell us where we can find more info about them.
So Business Canvas, Google it. I mean, it's an international license. However, you do have lots and lots of YouTube videos. The material is actually all online. Business Canvas, and then Growth Wheel, also international. I know that there's Growth Wheel training that takes place in Johannesburg, and also online as well. So Growth Wheel and Business Canvas. I definitely would say get those tools.
And your last bit of advice for any business owner when it comes to human capital, what's the one thing that we should remember?
That people are people. However, if you respect them, you know, you will get the best out of them. So I think sometimes as a business owner, you know what it takes for you to close that deal. You know you know what's happening in your bank account. You know, when there are zeros staring back at you, you know. And I think sometimes as a small business owner, we have the same expectation of our staff, and they mustn't take breaks. They need to work through it. They need to deliver. We are delivering but it's not, you know. But it's also as a business owner, we also have quite a big vision as to where we want to take the business to. So take your team along with you as you create the vision. But also your business as a small business owner needs to be quite transparent in terms of where are we? How much money did we make last month? What are the goals going forward? And what is their role in making sure from a monetary perspective that the business actually does achieve that? So sales is not just for the sales consultant, it's for everyone.
True.
From the receptionist to the CEO. And I think it's once you have that transparency and authenticity in your discussions with your staff, you can create a culture that is aligned with your values. Yes, that's what I would say.
Very, very valuable advice. And just before you go, I posted your contact details. But just for those who tuned in too late, tell us about that incredible orphanage in Midrand and what their name is and how we can support them. What do they need from us?
Okay, so the orphanage is called New Jerusalem Orphanage. They are based in Midrand. They have been around for about the past 20 years. The principal and the co-founder of the orphanage reached out to us to say that they're looking for textbooks for their students for next year. And, if you want to donate, if you'd like more information, you're free to contact myself and I'll give you the details, or contact the principal directly. So, as we entering Christmas, because we actually are in the last quarter of this year, I cannot believe it, but we are right there. It is a season of sharing. So it is a season of, even though everyone's, salaries, bonuses, profits have been cut, I still would encourage you to open your hearts and still to share, because a lot of these orphanages, shelters still desperately need funding from us to make sure that they can go through to next year. So.
Irisha, thank you so much. It's a great story that you've shared with us, and we'll definitely post their details. And a great charity to get involved in, a great organization, especially as we end the year. I mean, we've got 3 more months left, just 2.5 more months left of this year. It's just absolutely flying. Thank you so much for joining us live on Marketing Monday. I have posted the details. Here they are. They're New Jerusalem. JerusalemChildren'sHome.org. There's the details. So if anyone wants to support, or they can get hold of you as well on your Instagram, your Facebook, or your LinkedIn if anyone wants to assist.
Thank you so much, Liezel. I really, really appreciate it. So thank you.
Thank you so much for your time, Irisha. And for those of you who just joined us on Marketing Monday Live, you can play catch up on Facebook or on YouTube. Irisha just sharing human capital advice for small business owners, and made it easy for you as a small business owner to ask advice and to reach out, and also to make a difference to the New Jerusalem Orphanage. This is their website. If you want to make a difference, go there. And then that's it from me, Liezel V. I'll catch you again next Monday at noon, South African time, with Marketing Monday Live. And as I said to you every Monday, it's not about me on Marketing Monday, it's about you. So if you've got questions regarding your business, perhaps you've got a great guest suggestion for me that you'd like to feature on Marketing Monday, feel free to email me, creative@thegiraffebrand.com, and feel free to reach out to Irisha. She's made her contact details available. If there's a question that you didn't get answered or you didn't have time to have your question posted, please feel free to reach out. The contact details are down below. Have yourself a fabulous Monday, and I'll chat to you again next Monday. Cheers.